The Philippines is a tropical country rich in natural resources. It is an archipelago consisting of more than 7,100 islands. Located in Southeast Asia, the country is blessed with vast reserve of renewable energy with its geothermal sources, marine oil fields, verdant forests, and mineral deposits. An emerging tiger economy in Southeast Asia, Philippines currently boasts of 39th largest economy in the world. Considering the current GDP growth rate between 5 to 6%, international financial institutes estimate that by the year 2050, the Philippines will be the 14th largest economy in the world, 5th largest economy in Asia, and the largest economy in the Southeast Asian. But the country's development has two phases. While tall buildings rise and technologies are available, poverty-stricken Filipinos can also be seen, as evidence of the shanties along riverbanks, illegal sidewalk vendors, street children, and hard-to-earn income. Why is it that the people are deprived by the supposedly favorable results of development? Are development gains of the country not reaching down to the level of common people? Are these development gains undone by disasters? Most development problems are not just due to lack of resources. Many times they are also due to lack of data.
Despite having vast resources, enormous natural and financial resources, still people are poor in many countries, in many societies. One of the major reasons is that of the country does not stop the poor in these areas. Why they don't reach? They don't reach simply because there isn't any data available. In the absence of data on poverty, on population, on gender issues, on environmental issues, on lifestyle issues, on livelihood issues, on quality of life issues, on water issues, sanitation issues, agricultural product. There's so many number of, because of lack of data or maybe lack of reliable data, the gains of development, the investment on development is not able to reach those who actually need it. The key to addressing this issue is creating data. So the data generation has been happening, the census are taking place, but most of this data unfortunately is only at the superficial level. Most of the time this data does not give required indices for a development planning, and sometimes the data is not reliable. So the concept of this community-based monitoring and survey is that various types of issues of poverty, development and environment and all these things, the data is collected and generated with involvement of communities, instead of just like doing somebody is coming and ticking like that, but involving communities, discussing with them, getting information from them and validating that, and then feed into the data. So this is a CBMS approach, and from UMSB we have seen a vast potential of the CBMS approach in terms of documenting various risks and vulnerability and capacity and opportunity kind of issues from mitigating disasters perspective. So we have seen this as a major potential and also a good complement to our other tools like land use planning and participatory capacity and vulnerability assessment tool. So we found this as an additional tool that can generate most important data that can be used by various agencies for various purposes. The data generated from CBMS can be used for reviewing the impact of development, understanding the development needs, looking at the environmental issues, looking at the issues of women, children, looking at the land issues, looking at the poverty issues, and most importantly to understand how far the development investment of the government is reaching to the poorest of the poor in the villages. And these are the number of uses, and for us that also includes understanding the overall characteristics of vulnerabilities of the people living in the most hazard-prone areas. So we have, on a pilot scale, we have partnered with Department of Interior and Local Government, DILG.
The intervention for Biliran development in the area of disaster risk reduction management would require a very comprehensive and a very reliable data bank. In this case, we are in need of a community-based monitoring system as one tool that we can use in coming up with a more meaningful, more evidence-based development in this province. So for the DILG, we have been extending technical assistance to the local government units in the province that they would be implementing the CBMS to be utilized in coming up with a comprehensive land use plan and in coming up also with a comprehensive development plan, such that in the partnership of the province, the provincial government of Biliran, and the partnership of the DILG with the UNDP and MSB and the PDRRN, we are now into the implementation of CBMS in the municipality of Biliran. Community base will give us an idea of the socio-econ profile of the municipality. It will show us the level of poverty incidence in the municipal level, and it will show us also data on how many households do have access, for example, to sanitary toilets, how many 0 to 5 years old children who are malnourished, how many households live in makeshift houses, and the likes. And this will eventually give us a definition of what interventions in the context of DRR that should be prioritized for the province. So we are grateful also that UNDP has come in. We are grateful that MSB has come in. We are grateful that PDRN has that capacity to come up with more evidence, qualitative analysis of the participatory, comprehensive, and vulnerability assessment in the community level.
Community-based monitoring system. Basically, the approach is community-based, that the data should be collected at the ground level with the participation of the community residents. So all the sectoral groupings like the farmers, the fishers, the women, children, the person with disabilities, the elderly, the local officials, even the gay and the lesbians are actually involved or encouraged to participate in this. This is guided with the principles or the provision of the Republic Act 10121 of the Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Act of 2010, that community-based disaster risk reduction is a viable approach in DRR, or in disaster risk reduction. That means to say that the people is at the heart of decision making, meaning from data gathering, assessment and analysis of the data, treatment, monitoring and evaluation, and the implementation, meaning the overall cycle of program management, people must be part of it. That's why even the local government units, our partners here, also committed that this approach would be critical in preparing the land use or the comprehensive land use plan before it will be passed as an ordinance as basis also of a comprehensive development plan.
The United Nations system, right after the request of the Philippine government, activated the level 3 emergency mode for the Typhoon Haiyan crisis. So that means many of the international organizations and many of the United Nations system agencies will be mobilized to help the Philippine government in post-disaster response and recovery. A big part of the data from these exercises, especially from the CBMS or the Community-Based Monitoring System, is the poverty map. The poverty map is a very critical component in that forms the database for the land use planning workshop, for the comprehensive development planning process, and DRR planning.
Today's CBMS in Biliran is different, though with the availability of customized Samsung tablets provided by Swedish Civil Contingency Agency MSB and United Nations Development Program UNDP. The use of Samsung tablets eases the burden of enumerators because they don't need to carry heavy loads anymore. It also saves time during the actual interview. Community-Based Monitoring System, CBMS, is an organized process of data collection and processing at the local level and of integration of data in local planning, program implementation, and impact monitoring. It is a system that promotes evidence-based policy making and program implementation while empowering communities to participate in the process. CBMS through the DILG is being implemented using standard training modules on data collection, paper track, and tablet-based using the CBMS accelerated poverty profiling, data processing, poverty mapping. Major implementation activities for CBMS are as follows: advocacy, organization, MOA signing, data collection, GPS reading and data transmission, processing and mapping, data validation, and community consultation. With features intended for the purpose, the tablet contributed much in terms of swift and efficient reviews of questions and answers of client, with detailed arranged sectioning and its corresponding drop-down. Scanning the indicators is very manageable, especially for meticulous clients. The tablets also serves well in sending data for editorial purpose and as communication lines among enumerators, editors, and coordinators. The tablet is likewise very useful in stamping household identification using GPS. In order to prepare the field workers on using tablets for data collection, 5-day training was held beforehand.
So we have on a pilot scale, we have partnered with Department of Interior and Local Government, DILG, in Biliran, and we have agreed to partner with them to do a pilot basis CBMS in 14 barangays, and also analyzing them, bringing out tools, bringing out reports, and conducting workshops to feed this data into the national level planning.
For the workers, the opportunity to use a tablet is first and foremost. Meeting new acquaintances came in next, while experiences to both in the field and reporting processes gave them new insights which may be useful in their future endeavor. These they appreciate much when thanking UNDP and MSB. DILG, UNDP, and MSB are appreciative of CBMS volunteers who braved several challenges in data collection. They adjusted their work hours as per the availability of communities, which means they sometimes had to do work at late evening, nights, early morning, or mid-afternoons. They had to brave rains at times or scorching summer heat some other times, darkness in streets in the night, and even the menace of aggressive street dogs. The massive information campaign gained positive reactions from the community to the point that residents opened their doors for the field workers, since a few cooperated until the conclusion of the process. CBMS also changed the perception of the community towards cooperation for the common good of the municipality. when they saw their leaders pulling together despite different political affiliations. The analyzed consolidated data will then be used in the production of poverty maps, which in turn serves as the main guide in mainstreaming of disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation into the local development plan. With collective action and coordination of all relevant stakeholders and partners, CBMS is now a key strategy for addressing the issues of development.
Despite Typhoon Yolanda, international name Haiyan, something good has come out of the situation for the province of Biliran. We build back better by forging partnerships with UNDP, MSB, PDRRN, PDRRMO, and our office, DILG. This collaboration harmonized our efforts to prioritize the most pressing need of local governments in Biliran, that is, to mainstream the DRRM CCA in our local development planning processes. The DILG is here to coordinate among stakeholders in ensuring that technical assistance in local planning is effectively and efficiently provided. Allow me to thank UNDP and MSB for partnering with us. Your technical assistance is very much helpful in building back Biliran better.